Hello, everybody. Welcome to Style Wednesday, and it's the Queen of Style. And we are here to end the month with an amazing topic: women in male dominated careers. A lot of us do not know the statistics behind each career. And tonight we're here to engage you and let you know what it looks like. Yes, you might think that you're in a female dominated career, but yet you're not. So tonight it's the Queen of Style. And let me just thank my sponsors for the amazing outfit that I'm wearing this evening. And this comes from Nat's Boutique out there. And you have my amazing makeup as usual, Boss Lady Cosmetic, look for skincare line, and my earrings from Didazzle in New York City. And again, my accessory, my hat from Didazzle. Guys, remember, it's always about when to wear, how to wear, and what we wear. And not one and only Fashion Avenue News Caribbean for the continuance of showing our collection throughout the New York area. And my hair by Double Dutch in the Bronx. So guys, before we start, I would actually want to welcome my co-host, Dr. Kim Isaac de Barros, to the stage.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Wendy.
And then before we start, this evening we are going to be discussing the matter of occupational segregation. That is the fact that there are some careers that are female dominated and some fields that are male dominated. Today we are going to talk about women in male dominated fields. To round out Women's Month, our panel this evening are all women who work in male dominated fields. Let's make sure we're on the same page. Male dominated fields are those jobs and careers where 25% or less of the workers are women. In the United States, 2018, only 7.2 of the women were working in male dominated fields, and it's even less than the women of color. For example, amongst mechanical engineering, it's 6.6% are the women and only 0.6 are Black. And among computer engineering, 20% are women and 2% are Black. According to the statistics, women in male-dominated field are paid higher than women in the female-dominated careers. But the women in the male-dominated field are paid less than the women in the male-dominated fields.
When you actually think that is the women in the male-dominated fields are actually paid less than their male counterparts as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So before we go any further, let's connect with our guests. I want to welcome Ermelyn Sebastian, attorney at law, to the panel.
Hi, Wendy.
Welcome.
It's such an honor for me to be here celebrating women and really being able to share my experiences and also to learn from the experiences of your fantastic panelists. So I'm looking forward.
Thank you so much. We have the amazing marketing consultant, Joella Gums. Welcome to the panel.
Hi, good evening, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. And then we have at large, not only she at large on the panel this evening in Washington, D.C., Miss T.Y. Cobb.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Wendy, looking amazing. A full large as always. Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing, especially that we can come together and talk about something like this, so I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
You guys have such a busy schedule, everybody, so thank you so much. And then I want to bring on the one and only Genesis out there, the entrepreneur extraordinaire.
Hi guys. Thank you for having me, Wendy. I'm so honored. I'm super excited. I can't wait to learn from everybody today.
Thank you. And then the lady that took the construction field by demand, and she is none other than Gemma Joseph. You're mute.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And when we think about engineering, it's not only for men. We have Dr. Jacqueline, who took that field by storm and is here with us this evening.
Hey, Wendy. Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. And when we think about the veterinarians, Dr. Shannon is in that field. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Wendy, for inviting me. Thank you to all the panelists. I'm very excited to be here and talk to everyone tonight.
And when we talk about the medical field, we have Alicia, Dr. Alicia, coming all the way from that platform. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Good evening, ladies. It's such a pleasure to be here with you tonight as we continue celebrating Women's Month. Let's discuss this.
Thank you, guys. Guys, thank you so much for coming tonight and being a part of the ending celebration of Women's Month. They gave us March, but we celebrate Women's Month every single day of the year. But we're going to take this platform and utilize it because we are in a male-dominated world, and we have stepped up to the plate and took on careers that was once and still is, but we have made an impact. So ladies, thank you. So let's talk about the challenges in the women's field. For example, I read women in the male-dominated field have difficulty finding mentors.
Oh, that's true.
What are you guys' thoughts?
Anybody can start. Yeah.
Well, I guess, I'll start. Well, I've always considered myself a mentor because I think when you have the heart to give, everyone doesn't have a heart to give and to actually help, if that makes any sense, right? We are women, and, coming into a male-dominated career, they're looking like, you're not going to come and take over what I'm trying to do. Why am I going to try to help you, try to even get better, and even if there is a woman in the same field, sometimes women don't even want to even help you out, and that might be because, let's think about it, even though we could be confident women all day, I think it's just something that is in women that as soon as you see someone else, like maybe, okay, I'm the only woman in this field, and then here comes someone else, you want to keep all of your, I guess your secrets or your knowledge. So I definitely have gotten it from both sides. So I think that it's just sometimes people are fearful of what you might can do, but if we all just come together, I mean, we could just pretty much, large it together, but that's my opinion on that.
So T.I., tell us, why did you get into your field? Ladies, let's just tell the people why you got into the field first, and then we could go in. Why did T.Y., at large, why did you get into your field?
Oh my God, Wendy, what's so crazy when I'm interviewed, people ask me how, you do so much, you do makeup, you do this and that. And I always say that these gifts I have are from God. Since I was little, I was drawing, right? I never went to school for makeup. I started doing makeup at 15, getting gigs and things like that because of my gift. God gave me a gift. I used to act in stage plays when I was a young girl. So that was something that God gave me as well. And then as I grew up, producing and being on the radio, I had this big personality and people would say, you're a star. I wish I had went after high school, went on to New York, where I had the opportunity to actually work for MTV. But I think, I tell everybody, procrastination is a spirit, right? And sometimes you could procrastinate and, things get away from you. But that's how it started, Wendy, when I was little, acting and drawing and all of my gifts as I grew up, God just blossomed them. And then I got into makeup and then radio. And that has just been a blessing. And because I used to also write as a little girl, I've been writing stage plays since I was like maybe 8 years old. And from starring in them, production was just a natural thing for me. And that's how I, started the Real Makeup Arts at DC.
Yes.
So, it's just a God-given talent that he has given me, multiple talents. And I'm thankful for that because, even being an author, people will say, oh my God, are you an AKA? How many degrees do you have? And I'll say I am purpose driven because sometimes God blesses you to be purpose driven. So that's my story behind how I started, actually.
You have a little bit more that you didn't share with the audience. You just launched a clothing line, and
yes,
you have a makeup line as well.
Yes, so that all entwines into beauty and fashion. Sometimes people will ask me, slide in my DM and say, Ty, can you style me? And I'm like, listen, I could, but that right there is not my niche. I love fashion and I like to dress. So yes, I launched my clothing line, a large. I've been saying a large for years now, and in DC and look everywhere, people have started to say a large, where a large means anything. It is an action word, whereas though it could mean, hey, you're looking good, you're looking fierce, or a large. It could be asking a question, right? So I came out with my clothing line. Everybody was ready for it. I launched randomish during the pandemic, which is more of a kind of bleach line, but the large is that classy, sexy line. For all the larges in the world, an expressive apparel line. So it all goes together, for me, beauty, fashion, production. So I guess that's why they call me Miss Large.
Dr. Alicia, you want to go next?
For sure. Thank you. How did I get into medicine? After being the CARICOM ambassador for my country, I'm from Dominica, for those of you who don't know. I was given the opportunity to study in Cuba with a scholarship. So I did 6 years in Cuba. And after finishing my medical degree, coming home to some very sad news, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So I had to put that on hold for a while, thinking, what am I going to do? I just finished medical school. What's going to happen next? Not knowing back then that God had a plan for me. And through looking for alternative treatments and so to help my mother survive cancer, I found out about integrative medicine, functional medicine, lifestyle medicine, the importance of plant-based eating and mental health and all of those things. And then during taking care of the time I was taking care of my mother, I learned in different things. I decided to get qualified. I became a health coach, and I decided to do some postgrad degrees in lifestyle and functional medicine. And because of these, I must say, God has been opening doors and ways and avenues and helping me to reach people that I would have not been able to do if I was just a medical doctor. So this is how I got where I am right now. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here to share this with you ladies tonight.
Dr. Alicia, tell us what was that initial motivation? Where did that come from for you to pursue medicine?
So I remember always as a little girl, every time somebody got a cut, or we say bobo in local language, I was always the one to run for a piece of toilet paper or something to make a bandage or put on for a sprain or a wrap or something like that. So from young, I always knew that I wanted to do something in terms of healthcare. I know I wanted to take care of people. And they always told me that I have a heart, a huge heart. I love to share. I am always the one to sympathize. I want to give everything, for money or not for money. I'm always that person that is open to help anyone. So from young, I was always like that. And even now I'm still like that. So I'm grateful that God had opened up my eyes from a child, and my parents installed those values in me, and I grew up being that way.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joella?
It's a hi, good night again. So I'm a marketing consultant. That's where life has led me. I can remember as a little girl, there was this cartoon that premiered on ABC network. I think I was about 12 at the time. It was called, I don't remember the name, but I was fascinated with the way the characters were drawn and the clothes that they were wearing. I'd always been into art naturally and drew. But that cartoon, for some reason, the fashion in it triggered a love for fashion. So I would always sketch and design my own little designs as a kid. But as I grew older, around 15, I was like, okay, cell phones were a thing then. And there was this one cell phone that I just had to have. So I went and got a summer job, which turned into a full-time job down the road where I was a retail clerk. And that's where I discovered my love for sales and marketing. My parents had always been, full-time employees of, other companies. They'd been in sales and banking. So there was always this little entrepreneurial spirit that I got from them because they also had their own little side businesses. So when I got to the age where it was time to decide, okay, what am I going to do at university? Fashion merchandising is what I really wanted to go into, but the expense was something I did not want to take on as debt. So I said, okay, what do I love most the next? And that was marketing. I love to sell. I get a huge rush out of selling. And that's when I went to school, I first started just doing general marketing. And then as I transferred over to do my bachelor's from completing my associates, I decided to concentrate on branding. That's where, I really developed a love for strategy and, finding the voice of brands and bringing it to life and, ultimately making that sale.
Thank you. Ermeline?
Hi again. So quite honestly, I don't think I had a natural desire towards being an attorney, a lawyer. In fact, the story is that my dad at a certain age, he told me, well, you can do anything or you can be anything you want to be, but it has to be a profession. So choose one. And at that time, of course, your scope is limited in terms of what you know a profession to be. So I said, okay, I could be a lawyer, I could be a doctor, I could be an engineer, or I can be an accountant. And of course, I'm not good at math, so I'm going to go with the law. But thankfully, when I actually got to law school, I fell in love with the profession because I realized that I had an important role in protecting the most vulnerable people in society. I became the advocate for them. And I thought it was just such an amazing responsibility to be the voice for the voiceless, whether it's women or children or companies. In my case, you have this amazing responsibility to seek justice on behalf of persons. So I'm happy that ultimately I fell in love with the profession, and it's such a dynamic field, and it allows you really to touch every aspect of people's lives.
Amazing, amazing. Gemma?
Hi, I'm ready. Hi, everyone again. Well, Wendy, I think I'm a little bit different because everyone seems to have this career path that they all walk this one path. So in the beginning, I was a social worker. I think I was a good social worker too. And then one day I just got tired. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I worked in substance abuse, mental health, child protective services. And then one day that was it. I just had it. Like, I don't want to do this job anymore. I don't even think I ever said bye. I think I just didn't go back.
It's a taxing job. I mean, I think when you're dealing with individuals and their mental health and other agencies and organizations, it's really difficult. And especially if you don't have the support and guidance, Gemma, I definitely understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just think I just had it. And then I teamed up with a friend. He's like, oh, let's start a construction business. I was like, I don't know nothing about construction. He's like, we'll learn together and we'll wing it. We'll just go through this whole thing and we'll pretend like we know and we've been doing this for years. We'll use Google and the internet. And it was good. Like we banged. it was good.
When
I like to say, in the beginning, I would always say, I never made so much money in my life.
Well, that's a good thing because you have taken the construction field and you made me feel that anybody can do it. So
yeah. I mean, although the construction field with women is less than 10%, and I haven't came across maybe 2 women that are actually in construction, but the partnership that I got into didn't go too well. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just severing ties. I'm going to do something else. And then my cousin said to me, well, why don't you just go on your own? It's not like if you helped to raise, you build that business. And I did. I actually built that business from the ground up. And I said, you know what? God, I don't even have clients. How this going to work?
Wow.
And it was okay because I had previous clients that had my number, and they would call, can you do this and can you do that? We have flooring, we have bathroom, we have kitchens, we have things. Can you do? So I would say yeah. And every time I would go into a tile store, a kitchen store, a bathroom store, I would always leave my card so that they have their wall of people come in to look for contractors, and people will call, they'll say, can you help me to do this? And I'm always competitive, and I like to say, what's your budget? Can I work with you? I can put a female touch to your kitchen and a female touch to your bathroom. People actually like that, because normally construction is just men, and they'll come in and it's just a man's touch. But when it's a woman behind it, it's a little better and it's a little bit softer, and people tend to like that. So fast forward, here I am, and I'm not moving.
Wow.
You should not. You should.
Fantastic. More power to you, Gemma.
Thank you.
We have the amazing Genesis, who took LA by storm with her entrepreneur skills.
Hey guys, first and foremost, I want to say I am so honored to be in a panel with all you successful, beautiful women, and your stories are so amazing. I'm over here like, goodness gracious, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. I feel like I don't belong, but so I first wanted to say thank you guys, and I'm so honored to be here. So my story is a little bit different as well, like Gemma. I was working retail for many years. Actually, Wendy was my boss. And that's how I connected with Wendy. And I loved it, actually loved it. But then I decided it wasn't for me anymore, retail. So I got into fitness. So I'm a group fitness personal trainer in a very male dominant world. Absolutely loved it. And I realized when I was doing fitness training, how many women were so insecure, how many women say they were fat, how many women use all these words like I am nothing, and that's why, that really just kind of just made me like, no, you're not fat. You just, more lovable. I try to switch words. Stuff like that. So it really affected me as a personal trainer, as a group fitness instructor that I worked for LA Fitness, how these women talk down about themselves, because in actuality, everything starts up here first, the mental, and then everything else can take over your work, your life, right? So COVID hit, boom. So I lost my job in LA Fitness. So I still have my certification. So I was still doing personal training on the side. But then, you know what? We decided to move to California. So yes, I know I'm so random. I was in New York City, Rochester, Buffalo. I had my kids in Buffalo, New York, New Jersey, and now I'm in California. So coming to California has been an amazing experience. I still definitely still in fitness, but then one day I was on talking to somebody, and I posted a picture of some clothes I had on. Boom. And then when I posted these pictures, my picture just literally blew up with the clothes I had on that I designed. So at that moment, I'm like, you know what? I am going to create a clothing line to motivate, empower women all over the world. So that's where I'm at right now. So as well as still, still training and still in the gym, now I just want to conquer the outer layer of you, I want to make sure you feel beautiful as a woman through fashion. And then going back to my roots of fashion from working in Banana Republic, working in all these retailer stores, it just became a whole thing. So I just started my line in December. So I'm still up and going, but I'm just loving every minute. It's something that I feel like is needed out there, just empowering women through fashion, letting women know that you are beautiful no matter what. And that rooted from just working in the personal training world, like how women just beat themselves up with their words, so affirmations, manifesting, all of that stuff is what Align is all about. So she is king. She is king is more like, you are a powerful woman. We're out there, we're going to conquer this world, because in actuality, all of us, we go through depression, we go through stuff. We're moms, we're cookers, we're wives, we're the cook, we're the cleaner, and then we forget about us. So guess what? I'm here to tell everybody that we are king, we are queens, So that's who I am. I'm Genesis. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Dr. Jacqueline.
Hello, everyone. I just want to repeat that, just thankfulness, and add to that gratitude of being selected to share my story amongst such accomplished women and women of color. And I know that you're making such great footprints in the world, and mentoring people and building other people's spirit. And I'm just grateful to be here tonight. So what motivated me to kind of go into my area was interesting. When I was younger, my mother wasn't the type of person to have cable and different things for us. But I don't know if you all remember this, but we had encyclopedias before the internet. Myself.
Yes.
And beyond the encyclopedias, like my mom was always up for a deal. So I think they had this thing called the World Book. And so in the World Book, they had these other like smaller series. And one of the series was like on science. And so there was a section on electricity. And I was just so interested in that because it just seemed so cool to me. Like, oh, wow, this thing is just coming out of the air and people use it. And, you just think about how electricity has changed our day-to-day lives. Like even now, we're able to communicate with each other because of it. And I was just interested in it as a child. And so it was something I wanted to pursue. I had an older cousin, and he was very handy. And so he would, tear things apart and kind of show me different things, and, telephones and different devices. And so I think that also helped fuel it. And then as I continued to get older, I just like sought out people that would, help me. And so it was interesting how some people were kind of mentioning their stories and how it's kind of hard, like you mentioned before, to find mentors that look like you. And my thought process was, you don't have to look like me, but you have to be there for me. And so I did have, unfortunately, some situations where, there were some individuals, Black women too, that looked like me and were supposed to kind of nurture me in certain things, and they weren't able to. But I was able to look at it from the standpoint of, well, that person just doesn't see my greatness. They don't see that I really want to learn this and that I do this. I wasn't very good at math when I first started. That was one thing, like my father bought my sister and I different books on things that we would learn outside of just going to school so that we can enhance our education. And so, we weren't doing good in some of our classes. And so I wasn't doing good in math, and my sister, I think she wasn't doing good in history. So he bought us these like history and math workbooks, and we would do that on the weekend. And I'm like, I really hate doing this, but it was something that really helped build me up. And it showed me that I don't have to be great at it to start. And so I fell into that process just because it was just something that was really interesting to me. There was no one in my family that I knew of that was an electrical engineer. But then granted, when I got older, I did find out like my grandmother worked for AT&T, and she actually, in some sense, was an electrical engineer because she worked in the clean room and built circuits and things like that, but she never talked about it. So I didn't know about it. She's like, around the age of like 75, 76 years old. So, so maybe that influence was there, I think, because, my cousin lived with her. And so, like I said before, my cousin was one who I would sit and kind of, learn things from. So I'm pretty sure she was telling him different things about things that she did, and it funneled down. But overall, I'm just very grateful to have a strong support system as well. Like have an older sister, and I wouldn't have a PhD if it wasn't for her, because she was the one that told me like, hey, Jackie, you're an electrical engineer. if you go out there and seek it, you can find funding for your graduate program, and you most likely won't have to pay for it. And I followed her advice, and I was able to do that. So yeah, I would just give people the advice to, like, don't just look for people who look like you or are in your field. Like my older sister was not in my field. She studied psychology.
She's actually in my field. This is a very good friend of mine.
Which is one of the reasons why thankfully I'm here. And so, yeah, so she was supporting me throughout that whole process. And I will say, you know, truthfully, I've cried for my degree. I've went through all these different experiences of I can't do it, or, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I've also went through those feelings of just elation from like I've been in courses before, and I remember it was like different situations where I would turn in homework and I'm like, oh, that homework was just so exhausting. It was horrible. And I don't know how, you know, other people finished it. And so, you know, the professor is like telling us like, okay, I have an example of the class, you know, that I want you to follow because this person really did great. And I was like, well, let me go look at this example. And it was my work. So I was like,
wow.
That's not me doing too bad. But that was just something that kind of told me like to stick with it. And I just encourage people, even if you don't have people who look like you might have some people discouraging you at certain points, but find something within your process that can give you motivation. For me, it's all types of things. Like I mentioned, my older sister, there's also just like building a support group. I have a support group of women that I connect with monthly. And now hopefully I think they're watching this. And you know, we sit and talk and we support each other on our goals that we have for the year. And, you know, we connect and say, hey, have you done what you're supposed to do? Why haven't you done it? How can we help you? So that's my story. And I'm just grateful to be in this, you know, experience with you all. And I want to continue to encourage people, even if you're in a field and there's not that many people that look like you or have your background, still build your support system. And people can support you through a lot, even if they don't know exactly what you're working on.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Now we have coming up next, the amazing veterinarian, Dr. Shannon.
Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Shannon. It's a pleasure to be here and listen to everybody's stories and certainly get into it with everyone. So my background is, I think most people, a lot of people, especially when you're younger, you're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you love animals and you say, yeah, I want to be a vet. And I certainly fell into that group, but I also wanted to be a nurse. My grandmother was a nurse. I wanted to be a teacher, be all these different things. And when you're a kid, the possibilities are endless. But I love learning. I love math and science. And so that's stayed with me from grade school to middle school, high school, all the way through college. I really enjoyed my time at college. That let me kind of branch out to see if I really did want to continue pursuing veterinary medicine. I know a lot of times people get very focused when you find something you're very passionate about very early on, but you also want to make sure that you're not going to be missing out on something. So I was a vet assistant, vet tech for 2 years, but I got to college and I said, you know what, let me human medicine. So I was an EMT for 3.5 years. I was a student EMT and I learned a lot of wonderful things, but I also learned like, I want to get back to animals. No offense to people. So I still did some volunteer work, did my applications, and that school was amazing. I love the fact that they can't tell me what's going on. And sometimes the owners can't even tell me what's going on. I have to use my education and my instinct and my training to figure out what's going on. Ultimately, my goal is to end any suffering in pets. And so that dynamic between humans and animals has certainly changed, you know, from the middle of the 1900s, you know, no offense, dogs were kind of like outside, you know, you're not coming on in, but you think about what pets are to people now. People consider them family. That's other baby right there. So part of the family, and is certainly with the pandemic and how isolated people are feeling, that bond has increased even more. So vet medicine, another reason why I chose it was the flexibility. I can be in clinical practice, but I can be in the industry and work with a pharmaceutical company. I can do laboratory medicine. I can go abroad and do international medicine. Whatever you're interested in, go and try to do it. And so that's what drew me to it as well.
I think that there's so much positive energy here among our panelists. It's fantastic. And I hear a lot of joy and pride. Can you share with our audience something in your career, over the time of your career, that you have been really proud of to have had achieved? Anybody?
Can I go first?
Certainly. Thank you.
Sure. So I think, and it was November 2019, if memory serves me correct, after I did the exams to be qualified as an international board certified lifestyle medicine physician. I don't know if you guys ever had this experience where you walk into an exam room, you study all the material, and when during the exam, you're like, oh my gosh, it's best I didn't study. Like, what is it that they're giving here? I had that experience, and it was over 3,000 people. And before the exam started, they're like, maybe some of you will pass, maybe some of you will not pass, but at least 25% for sure should pass. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happens to the other 75%? Maybe I'm one of those people. Maybe I'm not prepared. So I started getting scared. But guys, the exam was really hard. And I sacrificed so much. I had to take loans. I had to do so much things for me to get that qualification. And then I remember getting out of the exam room and I cried. I called my husband. I was like, babe, I didn't pass these exams. I know we spent how much money, but I have to do this again. I have to wait the next year. And I'm crying. And at the same time, I'm saying, God, please help me to pass the exams because I don't want to go through this process again. And then I remember waiting 2 weeks and the first name that came out, because my name starts with A, was mine. I was like, oh my gosh, I was in the 25% that passed the exam.
Wow, fantastic.
And I
fantastic.
just kept crying. I was crying and everybody was saying, but why are you crying? I was like, these are tears of joy. I really did not want to go back and do these exams again, but it was really hard. And if it's one of the times in my entire medical career or my life that I was proud that I had passed the exams, capable to have done it, was when I passed my lifestyle medicine exams.
That was great. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share an experience?
I guess I will share. This was a big one. So I have a reality show called The Real Makeup Artist of DC. And I draw. So even this, when Wendy was saying I have a makeup line tag called Beauty, this I actually just came out with, which is Nappy Beauty, which is a beauty box. And of course, embracing our natural hair. But
wonderful.
Like 3 years ago, I was sitting there, and again, probably in 2010, everybody was like, you should be on TV. So I was doing like, little reels and things like that. And I had an idea for a makeup class, which was Real Makeup Artists of DC, bringing makeup artists together. So the logo had sat there for like 7-something years, and fast forward to 2017, God said, it's time. You're going to take that. It was the logo I made, Makeup Artists of DC, and you're going to do your own reality show. So I have a friend, if I say his name, you guys will know him because he's always on TV. And he had told me, he said, Ty, he said, why don't you find a larger company to produce your show? And I was like, oh, okay, like True Entertainment, Real Housewives, So I sat there and God said, no, you're going to do it. Because a lot of times somebody can say, well, why don't you go find someone else that's a larger engine to help you do it? And God said, no, you're going to do it. Now, okay, God, so how am I going to do this? Well, I produced, I directed, casted my whole team. I also starred in my show. It's on YouTube. The trailer went viral. And it is a big show in the DC area. People from Atlanta watch it. New York, everywhere. It is the first makeup artist reality show ever, created by me, a Black woman. And when people watch it, they think
Yes.
they have watch parties for my show. So you guys want to check it out and binge watch it. And I produced 2 seasons.
Yes.
And even in the city of, I'll even shout out Mitch Cradle. He is a wonderful filmmaker in the DC area who now has movies on Amazon Prime and everything like that, and even like Bravo. And he said, he met me and he said, I respect you. You're probably the only woman in production in DC that is doing her thing. And I respect you because you know what you're doing. And for you to do it by yourself, and people thought I literally had maybe 20 people. I got this guy named Braden, and I saw his work. And I said, you know what? I want you to film, to be my cameraman. And even Braden would say that even working with me, I helped to even mold and shape, because he was amazing already. But even sitting there and going through the editing process with him, okay, Braden, I need this here. We're going to do this turn and do this and film it this way. It was a blessing for me. So that is something that I'm very, very proud of.
And you should be, because I watched the seasons and they were really amazing. And
Thank you, Wendy.
I did congratulate you over and over. I said, girl, you're doing your thing. Congratulations. Amazing job.
Thank you. Everybody's like, when they thought it was gonna get picked up, and I said, well, you know what? Look, I was just happy that everybody embraced it, and there were people that told me. There was one girl, she told me, because I wanted to make it it was drama, but I wanted to have serious moments in there. And I'll say this and I'll move on. My friend Marcus Johnson had passed away at 35, and the first season, we were doing a prom give back, and I was at the house, and he had came into the door and he said, Ty, I hear your mouth all the way in the other room. Fast forward to season 2 the next year. The first season, we didn't know he was sick. You know how somebody lose weight, but they looking good. You're like, oh, you losing some weight. The second season, Marcus had passed away, and I wanted to dedicate a scene to him. Because again, he was just at the house, but my film guy had got that particular part of him peeking in the door. And I had did a pastor's makeup who had cancer, and she knew Marcus, and we talked about it. And we went into the editing room, and I told Braden how I wanted it cut, and we're going to go use that clip. And I did a dedication to him on season 2. And it was hard for, even when I shared it on my page, for his family to see, and to see his brother and his cousins and say, Ty, even though it was hard and it's only been 4 months since he's been gone, to see him smile again blessed me. So even in the drama and all of those things, there was a blessing of people saying, I was attacked in an alley, but your show, even though I had to stay home and they had broken her side, I looked forward to your show on Sunday. So even if it never gets picked up, it was a blessing, you know. So that's
wonderful.
My story.
Wonderful. Can we get a couple more people to share, because we have a lot of things that we want to say, and we can't do everybody's story, but we just want to get a flavor of everyone and what people said. So if we can get 2 more people to talk about what they're proud of, and then we can shift the subject to another topic.
Attorney Ermeline.
Okay, for me, I think there are 2 things that I'm most proud of. One, my journey in law school was a bit different from most, because back in the middle of law school, I found out that I was pregnant. And as you know, we women, we're great time managers, and we balance a million things. And I think at that point, I really learned how to do that. Of course, it was difficult. It was challenging. I had to make a lot of sacrifices. But I remember sometimes juggling classes and taking care of my son, and I would literally just, drop him off and say, here, you watch the baby for an hour, I'm going to class. So it was that sort of struggle. So I'm most proud that I was able to manage it and still be a good mom, and to, graduate with lots of respect and dignity, notwithstanding the challenge. So I'm most proud of that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
A quick moment that I wanted to share, if we have a couple of minutes left on that segment. So one of the things that I do in my current position is sometimes I go and do recruiting and I, speak with students. So like my full-time job is researching, but we also recruit for our research institute. And at one of the recruitment events, I had a student come up to me, and they were a woman, and they were from a class that wasn't represented. And they were studying an area that, was very challenging in STEM. And so they were telling me about some of the challenges they went through. And I just kind of talked with the student, and I told her, stay encouraged. And I don't know what I said or what happened, but during that process, she just let it go, like just kind of had more of a bonding moment with me. Wow. And my coworkers were looking at me like, what's going on? And what did you say to this? Like almost in a sense of like, as a student, okay. And she was fine. I think she just wanted to be heard. And, when you go to conferences and you have a lot of different people you're talking to, you're trying to network, there's a lot of pressure. And just having that ability to just kind of release and say, hey, I like what I'm doing, but it's a lot of work. And I see that I'm still at the beginning of my process. When will it ever end? And we really had a great conversation. And so that was something that really inspired me, because when I first finished with my PhD, I really kind of wanted to go into teaching. And then that didn't pan out the way I had expected it to. And so now I do research full time, but I still wanted to have that ability to kind of work with students and interact with them. And so that gives me the opportunity to do that by doing the recruitment process. So fast forward to about 3 or 4 years later, I receive a notification that a student wants to meet with me during this recruitment week. And so I'm like, well, they want to meet with me. I don't have I'm not a professor, I'm just a researcher. So why would they want to meet with me if they're doing their graduate program, And so then I finally go to the event and I meet the student, and it was the same young lady that was at career fair 3 to 4 years ago.
Wow.
Like, hey, I'm just so glad to see you. You motivated me. And I just, it was just a really hard time for me. And now this young lady was like selected between my institution and Oxford University. And so I was like,
wonderful.
Wow. Like, and she was just, very encouraged by my story and just certain things. And I had told her, I was like, you're going to do way more things, way more exciting things than I can even think of. And she was like, you really think so? I was like, yeah, of course. But it was just amazing to think that person, like that one singular moment, like to me, that was way more than me being a professor could ever amount to, was the fact that person remembered me from 3 to 4 years ago, and that she specifically wanted to come to our institution to meet with me. And there were so many other like professors and high profile people that she could have took her time to meet. And she was like, no, I really wanted to talk with you and reconnect.
Wonderful.
So yeah, that was one of those things I think about when I'm having my blue days. There's somebody who's encouraged by my challenge. So that's one of the things I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you.
So societal expectations and beliefs about women leadership ability. What message has society told you about your career choice? Perceived stereotypes such as a caring mother or office housekeeper, higher stress and anxiety compared to a woman working in other fields, lack of mentoring or career development opportunities, sexual harassment, right? Sexual harassment in male-dominated fields. Is this a problem? Guys, what do you think? And I want Dr. Aisha to go first, and then Gemma, because those are two like in the moment in the field that I would love to hear from you guys about the sexual harassment. Gemma, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I honestly can't say that I've experienced any sexual harassment, but what I have experienced is the male dominant. Like I've experienced men trying to take over jobs that I've acquired. I've experienced them actually taking over jobs that I've acquired. You know, that was my job. You just stole my job. And, and then, you know,
Wow.
at first there's anger. There's like real anger because, you know, this is money. This is a business. You don't want someone to just take your job away. You know, and just the other day I was speaking to someone and I was telling them what happened to me. Like I bought someone in on a job and he said, you know, I couldn't do it, but he turned around and got some other people to do my job. So I had to ask, like, where's my, you know, what's my percentage? So, you know, I'm at the point now, I need to get like a signatures, like we're gonna sign signatures that you're not gonna be stealing my job. Like you can't be stealing my job. But it, you know, but it happened. He took my job and gave it to someone else. And then they looked at me and said, hey, you know, we're gonna need you to buy the materials for this job. I'm like, the one you stole from me?
Do you think that this happened to another male?
Another male took my job. I bought him on this job and he said to me, you know, I can't do this job. We're gonna have to call in someone else. So I said, okay, let me make a few phone calls. He's like, no, I got someone. So I'm saying, okay, great, we can work together with this other person.
He had a different plan.
Yeah, not knowing the plan was to X me out. And you know, they turned around, they said, you know, can you come and bring the materials for this job? So I said, sure, like what's my percentage? And they said, no, you know, we're just gonna give them this job. So I said, but you're, you know, but you're working there with them as well. Oh, well, I'm helping. I said, oh, I didn't know you do charity work, because I sure don't.
I think that hierarchy is very interesting in many fields, but I think definitely in construction. And when I think of the road construction, there might be a woman and she's the one that's holding the flag. You know, as a woman passing by a construction site, you know, all the hollowing and the so on and the so forth, the comments that are not welcomed, you know. And so I think of as you talk about, well, you know, I'm the business owner here. I'm bringing you on to do something, and then just that disrespect, that undermining of your process, of your professional goal, you know, because you're in it to, like you said, it's not charity, you're in it to make a living.
Right. The other thing is that I'm constantly telling people my name is Gemma. It's not Babe, it's not Honey, it's not Sweetie, it's Gemma. Please.
Yes.
It's Gemma.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Dr. Aisha? Is she hearing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I find like during my time when I was studying, doing postgrad studies, people always ask me, I got married 3 years ago, people always ask me, are you still studying? When is it time for you to make babies? When is it time for your family, your biological clock is ticking? I'm like, I'm just 30. I have enough time. I can do all of those things. So people expect you to not be able to be a mother, to take care of your home, and be a doctor, be successful in your career, all at the same time. But I'm so happy I was able to do all of that. I'm able to be a wife. I'm able to take care of my home. I'm able to be a doctor, and it's going quite well. I find that people don't target men like how they target women in my field. They don't tell the men, well, hurry up, study so you can have your families, you can do this and do that. And let's say you want to go and you want to buy yourself a nice vehicle because you're doing well, they want that, okay, what salary are you making? And compared to a man, you don't get that kind of, they don't give the men that kind of attitude like how they give us women. They always want to be, society always want to be checking up on you, what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you're supposed to be doing. It's like they're all up in your business instead of celebrating your successes and encouraging you. That's how society is making it. Get back, let's paint a bigger picture in terms of sexual harassment. because of our boobs, because of our shape, because of so many things that God has blessed us with patients, with people on the road. They're like, as Gemma was saying, hey, Dr. Sweetie, or something. I tell people, my name is Dr. Honoré. If you want my number, call my husband. He will tell you all what you need to know about me. That kind of a thing, you have to put them straight right there. And then if not, they want to take it over. I mean, I'm not saying that there are not ladies that will not flirt with doctors and so, but compared to how men want to flirt with doctors and want to sexually harass you and want to get maybe discounts or expect charitable work from you, you don't get that compared to what they do to men. Even the specialties that we as women choose in the medical career, you'll more find men, they get those that pay more. They'll get the orthopedic specialties, they got the neuro specialties, the cardiovascular, and so on. It is more tended for men compared to women. And even when we go into those fields, they don't want to pay the same as they're paying to men. I mean, sometimes we even do better than, most times we do better than them, because we have the sixth sense, we have the extra care, we have the extra everything. But at the same time, society keeps pressing us down, even though we're trying to make it out there. So I don't know who started it or why it's going on. I really wish it would stop and give us our fair chance to do what God blessed us to do.
Yes, and I think that speaks to what Jackie was saying in terms of that connection, that sixth sense, as you name, is like having made a connection. There's something that somebody saw in you that, you know, you really are a driving force for them. You connected with them. It's moving you forward. It's moving them forward. Sorry. Joella, how about in sales? Like, is there something, you know, the stereotypes that like you mentioned your parents, for example, that they were in the same field and they kind of had side businesses, but are there messages that you may have received that may not have been as positive in helping you grow in your area?
Well, when I first got into sales, I was around 15 at that time. It was just a little Christmas job. And then a few years later, I started working full-time in sales at a computer retail store. So majority of the customers were always men. But in this case, I use my femininity to my advantage. So sometimes I would come into the store just to casually flirt, but I wasn't there for that. I was there to make money. So, you know, I would talk them up and get them to buy things. So it was a little different for me. I'm only 5'2", so I think a lot of the time people see me as small and that I couldn't be easily intimidated. But I think growing up around a lot of men around my dad's family, I kind of, you know, grew some big balls that I always use to my advantage. So
wonderful.
So
Thank
it's
you.
been a bit of a different experience for me.
Good.
Even when I later went on, I managed one of the major telecom stores here, the retail side. And even then, you know, at that time I was already in my 20s and people would come in, you know, customers, male customers especially, you know, trying to pull fast ones on me. And, you know, I would always, you know, have to put them in their place.
Good for you. Good for you.
I think I've had to develop a complex because, you know, I'm small, so I have to, you know, act bigger than I am to get things done.
Okay,
good.
I would love to hear from Genesis and Ermeline as well, because their field is somewhat, as Genesis is a trainer, a fitness trainer, and I know in the gym it could be a little bit difficult for me being in the gym as well. Genesis, let's hear from you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I never kind of experienced it. I was a director, so I kind of feel like people just knew, like, not to be so aggressive because I was a director. I would say, like, I always, you know, being in the industry, kind of just to walk straight, did my own thing, spoke to people, but nothing really, I'm not sure my internet connection is okay. So I never really kind of, but I would, I'm trying to explain it without explaining it in a really negative way. But no one
tell it like it is. Tell it like it is, Genesis.
So it's pretty tough because, you know, they do want males. Like you do see a guy come into the gym and you want a male trainer because his body, right? Because you see this guy is all puffy and big and you're like, oh, he can really get me into shape. But with the females, you know, we're kind of look under because of us being so feminine, being so little, like, you know, and that's all a choice because I could be big diesel girl if I really want to, but I like to keep it, you know, nice and small. So I never really like experienced it a lot, but I did get a lot of like attention in the gym, like the guys and stuff like that. But with my position, I kind of just, everyone just knew they can't really like push up on me. Also like in my group fitness classes, a lot of the women would feel uncomfortable, but as soon as a guy comes in and just being nosy and kind of watching these women, if I'm training them, I always say, you know, you have to leave right now. Like I would just kind of be like strong about it. I never, my industry in group fitness, we're all women. There were occasionally, there was men here and there, but I was the director of all the fitness trainers. So we never, I never kind of heard any stories about how men are attacking women, and my bosses were all women. So all my leaders were women. So I really can't relate to that. But I'm saying as a woman going to the gym, I do drink my water with this hand, you know. I walk around with my water on this hand, you know, I'm like this sometimes. So
You're left-handed now.
yeah. So I'm like, so kind of already, but yeah, so I'm sorry, I can't really speak to it, but it's definitely there. I'm sure the experience of, you know, picking a male and a female. You can't really say like, oh, I want a female trainer or a male trainer, but you know when a client just wants to be with a male or female, you know?
Okay. No, who was it? Ermeline, have you experienced it in the world of law?
The most interesting experience that I had so far was with a male colleague, because usually when you enter into, let's say, a negotiation room and you're representing, in my case, my company, of course, I'm going in there very serious, very shrewd. I'm the utmost professional when it comes to making sure that I get the best possible outcome for company. And after the meeting, the colleague actually told me that, you know, I underestimated you. You look so unassuming. You know, I saw you walk in with your hair and your makeup looking nice. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a walk. You're going to be a walkover, pushover. And at the end of the meeting, he's like, wow, I didn't know you were so serious and so shrewd. And
wow.
And the fact that he actually came out and admitted it, it tells me that this is probably going through the minds of many of our male counterparts, whether it's in business or in the legal field or in the gym or whatever profession or field we're talking about. So I think as women, we're often underestimated and we're often classed as emotional and soft and, you know, not serious and not professional.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important when we go into those settings to stamp our authority, so to speak, and to make sure we demand respect. And the here and the babe and the sweet girl and all of that. I think we have to put our foot down and leave that outside of a professional environment. And
yeah,
that's my experience.
Dr. Shannon, any experiences there?
So I haven't had any experience with sexual abuse or misconduct in my experience with vet medicine. What I would say is I've had the experience of being the new grad. So I've got my license. I am officially a veterinarian, and yet the clients still assume the male vet tech is the doctor. You know, there's the doctor, and they're like, well, who are you? I'm like, I'm the doctor. I've got the white coat on. I think, well, in certainly my first year, it was knowing how to communicate right from the get-go. There's a certain way you can do it. You can come off rough and very masculine, or you can come off just very knowledgeable. And yes, me, I've got my stethoscope, and there's a level of professionalism that can come. It's just when you enter the room, they know who's running the show. And it's just, you have to take time to get your groove. It's going to be very individual.
Right. And I think, pardon me 1 second, but I think both you and Ermeline touched on something, because there's that attractiveness. And I think if you're attractive and you're putting effort into your appearance, I mean, you're still a professional, and somehow that means that you're not serious, that you're not at the top of your game. And I think, as you're saying, sometimes it forces us to be gruff, to be, but I think that, that then disadvantages us, because now, you are seen as less than desirable in terms of, well, I don't want her to be my vet, or I don't want her to be my attorney. But I mean, that might be a little bit different because I would want you to be my attorney if you are gruff, because I need a fighter. If I need an attorney, I need a fighter, so it just, when you think in terms of what you are putting into your professional space is kind of what I'm saying. So I'm sorry, I got in on your talk.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think it was multifactorial though. So it's, I graduated, I was 26. I looked young. So they're like, who in my profession, more times than not, you're the older, no offense, the white guy. He's got 20, 30, 40 years of experience. Who are you? You just learned how to do this stuff. So you've got to prove yourself in that regard.
Right.
I will say the first time that anybody fully commented on it, they had this look about them, not a mean look, but they were just keeping in awe almost. And so during my first year or two, I mean, I wore my nice stuff. I wore my nice shoes and my nice slacks. As a veterinarian, you see all sorts of bodily fluids at a certain point, just like I'm wearing my kicks and pants. But my first year or two, I certainly tried to dress on up. I felt great. And the gentleman's comment was, I've never seen a vet look like you. And it was a very honest, not mean-spirited comment. And I think I ended up making a joke, like, I'm sure you haven't. Like, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm a Black woman, I've got my nice clothes on. And so I made a comment about my clothes and we laughed, but I'm like, I have to be aware of that. That's
right.
See that.
Wonderful.
It's a very Caucasian dominated field. So my present.
Amazing. Ty, I know you're a radio host and you've been around a lot of male, and I know that that's something that you deal with. So can you share any of that experience? I know.
Yes. So look, everybody be like, I would love to see your DM. So yes, I would say this, like men will, especially let's say, for instance, like, you're on Facebook, Instagram. If you are a woman that is attractive or can dress or something, they would think, oh, she likes nice things. She's a gold digger, or she fits the, the look. And I buy all of my stuff and I am not that chick. So, they'll try to be like, oh, I'm an artist, or I'm this. I would love to come on your show, because they don't get any other attention from me. So men will try to, use coming on my show or getting their publicist to like email me to get on my show. And one particular time, a publicist, email me, oh, I have this artist, X, Y, and Z, interviewed this artist. And at this time, we were in the studio before the pandemic. And he was like, so afterwards, he just kept, you can go now. So went outside, followed me out to the parking lot. He was like, can I walk you to your car? I said, you cannot. I said, you can go your way and I'm going to go my way. I said, I would like you to know I am not that female. And I always do this look, and he left me alone. And I think sometimes they think, oh, okay, well, let me try to holler. And I don't take meetings with men. I know that sounds crazy sometimes, but all of that, oh, I would like to meet with you about some business. Well, you can email my assistant, and my assistant is actually me. So, they don't know that, but I meetings when I was, had Harley Morgan on my show, I would always tell Harley, can you go with me to this meeting? If I have to go to a meeting that's, that's good for me, he will go along with me. But he will always tell people, Ty Cobb is not the one to fool with. Like, she is like a man when it comes to business. I'm not, I have a big personality. So I think people expect to see that at these meetings. You do not see that. You see Tyrone. You want to say?
I love that. I love that.
How are you?
I love
Okay, so how are we going to make this work? No, we're not going to do that. And so they respect me. And they may look and like my pictures and put, hearts and all that, but they know not to fool me in that way. And us women, we have to speak up.
Yeah.
When this is happening. I remember, I was told, hey, if you let me date you, you could come to my radio station and you won't have to pay anything, or you like all kinds of craziness. So I've experienced it all.
And I think even in fashion, like a lot of times when you do go to audition or you go to make a negotiation, it always happens. It has happened to me several times. And it's like, okay, they call me the pit bull in a skirt, because at the end of the conversation, I am going to win with my point and I am going to get the negotiation that I want. Yes, I might have my fancy here, I might have my fancy lipstick, but at the end of the day, they take us for granted, or they take us for just a pretty face and a nice outfit. And I think that's where we female have to stand up for ourselves and understand that, yes, we're educated. Yes, we have the degrees. Yes, we are who we are, but we cannot let the males stop us. Or we cannot let, I have this thing, my dad was like, he was always like, go get what you want to get. Nobody can stop you. The only person can stop you is God. Mm-hmm. And I always remember that clearly. Anytime I go, I am professional. I do what I have to do. And I think that we women have to be strong and show them that we can't be broken easily. Just because we are pretty and we nice clothes and we have our high heels on, whether we're in the medical field, in an attorney, whatever field we're in. Yes, it was male dominated, and yes, it might still be male dominated, but the gap has been closing so much. Mm-hmm. And we have to encourage ourselves and other females out there that the work might be hard, but the work cannot come easy. It cannot come easy.
Because then there's no value to the work if it's easy.
And definitely, we want to put in our work and get our reward just like the males. You heard Gemma say that they stole her job and gave it to another male. And, when you think about that, I don't even understand how I would have reacted to that situation. Because if you already put in they think that they could just come and step over us. And I think that today, in 2021, we have to make our voices heard, and we have to have the strength to go with these men that they think that the careers that they're in is only for them. It's not. It's not. We are here and we are coming with more females.
Yeah. And I think that, it's across the board, really, how we support each other. So Wendy, you've said that, Jackie, you've said that, it's like how we support each other, and where do you find the support? Because it's not always another woman or people who look like us. It's really making that connection. And what I want to just go through a few things, because when I think about it, we talk about 7% of women in male-dominated fields, right? So, but then Ty, I think it was you early on who talked about women who see another woman and that kind of like feeling threatened, and so you start isolating yourself. You're isolating yourself, you're hoarding your talents, you're hoarding your connections, because you're kind of threatened by this woman. But what if you were able to make a connection, a fruitful connection that make you, as I think it was Gemma who was talking before, that you become this force and you can actually start a successful, powerful business that allows both of you or more of you to make inroads into this particular career, into this particular field. And so that, yes, there are definitely the challenges. And I wanted to go through, because we've touched on a few of these things, but Wendy, if you don't mind, I can just kind of read these through and let people respond.
Yeah.
So how do you survive in the male-dominated fields? And I have just a few statements, and I'm just going to read them through. And people, at the end, when I'm done, just jump in and see if there's anything that you have used or that you've advised anybody to use to move forward when there's a conflict or when there's a challenge that you're particularly facing. So for example, the first one is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So in other words, you got to speak up. And I think, Joella, you talked about that. Beer is for bonding. And so going out for a beer after work, projects are being talked about, projects are being assigned. Would you put yourself in that situation? I have my own thoughts about that, but I'll let you all talk about that. Avoid being too easily offended. And so, but where's the line? Because I need my respect. I'm a professional woman, and if I feel threatened and if I feel disrespected, I'm offended and I'm going to speak on it. Don't be anybody's coffee getter or lunch getter. And I think that we talk, Dr. Alicia, talking in terms of, well, how is your husband, when are you going to have a baby, or when are you going to do this, or who's going to go get this, or, they're not asking the men these questions, but somehow the babies are getting made, and somehow the lunch is getting made, and somehow, the coffee is being brought. So don't be that. Don't be anybody's yes woman. We have our own ideas. And I listen to all of you, and it's just like saying, this is what I'm bringing. I'm bringing something powerful, and I have much to add. And then also playing to your strengths. And I like the way that Joella put it, that, I'm 5'2", but I know how to, in the field of sales and marketing, I know how to get the job done. Anybody, get in there. Let's talk about this before we wrap it up.
Well, I think when you think about, like, well, you know how I feel about this. So for me, I am not going to be nobody yes person. I'm not going to be nobody coffee getter, and I'm not saying that there are not women out there who do it, but I am not doing it because I know what I can bring to the table. And I think we have to know our worth. And I think that's the biggest thing for us, for me as a female, that women, we need to know our worth. What is our worth?
Right. So having that it's so important for us too, like having that emotional support, like being strong inside. It starts with us, right? So we go to the workplace and guys are doing this. We got to stand up for ourselves, But if you do feel like getting coffee, I don't see it being a bad thing.
Right. If you're going to get some for yourself, maybe.
It's your choice. It's your choice. It's not, can you go get me some coffee for the guys and us? Because we are the senior somebody. No, it's not happening.
Right.
Like, if it's our choice to do that. And if I'm going out for lunch and I have my colleagues and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to grab something. You want something? You want me to get you something? That's my choice, not a demand.
Absolutely. And I always say this, listen, if you have a problem, create your own opportunities. I created my own production company. And what's so crazy, my camera guy always says, Ty, you don't get enough credit from the people that you built, that you gave opportunities from, because listen, the people that you give opportunities from will be jealous of you, envious of you, and everything. And that is a whole nother topic. But even with him as a male, being a film guy, he said, you know, I respect you, and you don't take. He tells people, even when we go to meetings, she is a hard cook. Like I they can't believe.
Is this a family show, Wendy? Is this a family show? I think Ty is having some trouble saying exactly what she wants to say.
No, but yeah, look, and I don't curse, so, you know. So, and he's like, no, she doesn't take any stuff. And when I'm sitting down, I don't take any stuff. Look, if you don't want to do business with me, because you can't get my number, I'm not supposed to do business with you. I can create my own opportunities. And that's what we have to do, create your own opportunities and go get it.
And that is why when Ermeline said she got the deal and the guy took her for granted, I loved it. Because they think that we're coming in with an emotion on our shoulder. Ain't no emotion on our shoulder. We're going to get what's ours, and we're going to use our words, and we're going to use our platform, and we're going to know how to get what we got to get without even thinking about anything else. And that's what I want women to know about today. Stop taking the crap and use your words and your brain and understand what you're getting yourself into. Do your research before you go into the boardroom. Do what you have to do before you go into the meeting. Know what you're up against before you even step in. So then you can now come in with the unknown and you can actually play the same cards as a male. We have to act as men with a female mind.
And Wendy, let's remember this. See, we have that same, like, look, you're not going to.
No.
But you know what they call us when we're like this? Everybody knows it. A bitch.
Yeah.
You are a on my case. Well, because I can pray for you 1 minute, but this is business. So I'm a bitch because no, this is not right. All right, let's go. No.
Yeah.
But we should not care, because when it's a man telling somebody, oh no, I'm gonna write you up. They expect that. It's okay. But when it's a woman and we're on our business stuff, we're a B. Well, guess what? Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't beat her.
I just wanted to.
I think also, in addition to the opportunities, making our own opportunities, we have to start, especially amongst ourselves, encouraging a cultural shift. I think what stood out most to me was when you mentioned I think it was going out for beer after. It's almost sad that we as women have to consider our safety when it comes to just simply socializing and associating with colleagues. And men, you don't have that problem. So I think there has to be a cultural shift where you know, we stop blaming ourselves for people's depravity and you know, we have to watch what we hear or how we present ourselves just because certain persons, you know, turn us into victims.
Yes.
So I think that's sad.
Rightly
and there
said.
has to be a cultural shift when it comes to treating women as your equal.
Yes, rightly said. And one thing I wanted to do, and I think that this is a good time because I kind of saw Wendy really got passionate into this as we explored this towards the last couple of minutes. But Wendy's my sister. I'm Wendy's older sister. And this month, Wendy has undertaken the huge task of celebrating so many women on her show. When the pandemic hit, we know that this is Style Wednesday, Le Coiffeur Style Wednesday, and she shifted with it to ensure that people were getting the information, that people were talking about where we are, what needs to happen, how can we support each other, and it really shifting it into a second gear this month to talk about women's empowerment and celebrating women for Women's History Month. So I want to, with the rest of you, applaud my sister, Wendy Isaac, this evening.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. You know, it's really a pleasure. You know, I'm very passionate about women and how we love each other and how we support each other. And for me, you know, it's not a day go by when I don't see somebody doing something great from a woman perspective. And I think that we have to stop saying, oh, she's being better than me, or she's doing more than I am. We have to stop that. And I think until we stop that, then we now can dominate the male dominated careers. If we pull up, you understand? There's so much of us on the same field right here. You have Joella, you have Ty, you have myself and Genesis. We all in the fashion world. You know, think about it, us coming together and doing more. You know, Ermeline she's a lawyer, but she can actually do some our contracts. So how can we get her involved?
Yep.
You know, we have Dr. Shannon, you know, she might be able to inspire somebody else to become a veterinarian. There's not a lot of us. You have Jenna, construction. Yes, we don't want to get our nails dirty and our thing messed up, but we're on a different side of that world.
Right. Wear gloves.
Exactly. How can we get, you know, and Alicia, who is out there advocating for different types of medicine to heal, how can she encourage other people to eat differently, because this will give you a cancerous disease that can do something to you. And Dr. Jackie, like, how can we get her involved to show us what research looks like in terms of what we need to do as an engineer? And then you have Dr. Kim, who's a psychologist, always sitting on that couch. Listen, she's my sister. And years when I said to her, I said, I don't need a doctor right now. And this was kids growing up. I don't need that person right now. I need just my sister. You understand? Yeah. So there are times when we as female have to really stop and say, am I being selfish and not supporting another sister? And that's where I want to tell you guys tonight. Let's outreach. It doesn't stop here as a panel. You know, knowledge is power, but we cannot stop at our site. Yeah. We have to pull somebody else up. And I want you guys to leave tonight. And I'm so happy we were able to bring this together tonight, because everybody on this panel has been some part of my life somewhere or somehow. And the respect and the dedication and the love that I have for you guys is tremendous. And I want us to challenge ourselves differently this year. Challenge ourselves to undertake somebody as a mentee. Be a mentor to somebody. Show the difference, because, you know, our time is short, but it's still long. But how can you make an impact in somebody else's life? And this is the end of Women's Month, but this doesn't mean it stops us from doing what's right. You know, we just came out, or we're coming out of a pandemic. It's not 100%. How much of us felt lonely? How much of us didn't have that person to call on to say, girl, you know, I'm here by myself. Like, you know, how many of us didn't have that female that we could trust? Why? Think about what we are doing, and think about doing something with purpose, something with value, something with intent. And I want to tell you guys, you know, when I was going to my mom is in St. Kitts, and every day I think about her. It's 2 years now I haven't seen her because of the pandemic. And when I think about that, it's like a part of my heart is gone. So when we are here in different parts of the world, we have so many communication methods. Let's connect.
Absolutely.
You know, I am challenging the women around the world to find somebody, find a couple people, couple other girls, younger girls, your same age group, maybe older than you, that you could empower, you could inspire, that you could motivate. And let's take this thing about, you know what, I don't like her, I don't like him. No, let's take it away, because it begins with us. And we cannot make a difference if we don't try to make a difference.
Yeah.
And That's my philosophy for Women's Month. That's how I'm going to end it. I'm going to thank Corinne Phipps and my sister Kim and everybody for saluting me for Women's Month. But everybody who knows me, I do it from my heart. It's never something to look back for. I mentor a lot of teenagers, and for me, it's about encouragement. It's about pushing. It's about saying, can't. To me, that's not in my vocabulary. Everyone knows me. Can't doesn't exist. It's we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it well. And if we fail, guess what happened? We get up again.
Right.
We get up and we bounce back and we get even stronger.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
So for me, as women of color, of shades of color in this room, I'm gonna say salute to everybody. Because we took on a project not even knowing that we were going to be in a place what was dominated by males. And every one of us here has been successful and continue to be successful. And I want you guys to feel proud of everything that you do every day. And I want you guys to walk away saying, how can I take my same winning spirit and give it someplace else?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a saying, I don't play to lose. I don't play to lose. So when we go in, we go all the way in. And that's how I know women to be. So I'm going to say, closing out this month, I want to thank everybody for what they do every day and what we push through. Because yes, I'm in fashion, I'm in style, but where were we styling the last year? Nothing. Where were we going the last year? You know, so we had to think about what can we do differently, right?
Yeah.
And how can we create different platforms? Only Ermeline in St. Kitts doing her little bang, 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 boom. But, you know, I have to say that, you know, we couldn't do any fashion events. We couldn't do any shows. We couldn't go anywhere. We're still in lockdown. They haven't opened up a lot of things in New York City. So it's like, we have to love each other. And I'm going to ask you guys, please be a mentor to somebody, guide someone, show them the right path. Because everybody don't have the same strong parents or the same strong morals or the same strong background that each one of us are on this panel have to be successful. Some of us need to hold somebody's hand and guide them. So ladies, if you don't have anything else that you want to say to the panel today, I'm giving you your opportunity now because I think I've said enough.
Well, you know, I'll end it like this. Wendy, look, I don't have no flowers to give you. I guess we could look, add some flowers and give it to you. But I remember the first time we met. Look, we were at an event. We won't talk about that.
But we're in Atlanta.
We bonded because we were like, you know, it was a little kiki. You know, we'll keep that. But you are just, I would just say that I am praying that God forever continues to elevate and enlarge your territory. You are a beautiful person. And again, never let anybody, you already know, tell you what you can't do. And I am praying for you and much success to you. And look, when this pandemic is over, we got to do something. We got to do something together and full large it. They ain't ready. And to all the other ladies, continue to just look. I was looking at all of us, and if you notice something, we all have this nappy beauty. It could be a protective step. Did you all notice that? I noticed that we're embracing what they say is not cute, what they say is not professional, and there are doctors and all of these people on here, and we're embracing just our natural beauty. So I actually, look, I call it nappy beauty. I actually, you know, noticed that. So God bless all of you and continue to do what you're doing. And that's it. Right.
Who else want to go?
Yeah.
Everybody got to say something.
So Wendy, I want to say thank you again for having me here. And ladies, it was indeed a pleasure to connect with you tonight. But I also want to encourage the ladies who are watching, and even us here, as Wendy was saying, for us to go out and be mentees. But as women, let us remember to not be the product of our situation, of our circumstances. Too many times, there are women who have been abused, who have a lot of trauma in their past, or maybe going through a lot right now. And because of that, they don't want to push through. They don't want to succeed in life. They're giving up. And so do not be a product of your situation or your circumstance. Don't believe that you cannot do it because you come from a little island, or you come from a poor background or so. With God, all things are possible. I also want to remind us that sometimes we have to start at the bottom of a food chain. There's always someone to begin. There's always someone to end. The important thing is for us not to stay at the bottom and rise progressively. So don't stay below all the time. Let's support each other to grow. And your God always tells you that there is someone who wants to snitch your idea, or that person is not good to work with, but no man is an island. If we can support each other, or we can get people locally, internationally, wherever, to support and build our dreams, let's do that. Let's empower each other. Let's continue elevating each other as we fight for a place and we make our mark in this world. Thank you again, ladies, for being here. And Wendy and Dr. Kim, it was my pleasure. And let's stay healthy.
Thank you.
And take care of ourselves, most importantly.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, you can. Oh, okay, there it goes. I wasn't lighting up. Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Wendy. Thank you, everyone. I took so much from this conversation. Like, I have notes. Like, I love like quotes and little "no man is an island." Like, I love that. Nappy beauty, create your own opportunity. So I was writing all these notes down, and I took so much from this conversation. And I just want to say thank you. I'm honored, blessed this opportunity, but I just want to give now. So I wanted to make sure and tell you guys that keep going, whatever you guys are doing. I like I said, I feel intimidated to be even on here, but
Never.
Oh, wow.
yeah, we're all one, right?
But I don't know why.
I just wanted to give to you guys, like, keep pushing, keep going, don't stop, don't give up. If you are down and out, Instagram me, call me, text me. I'll give you guys my number. Like, just, I want to be there for you guys. Like, anyone watching, I honestly totally forgot we was on Facebook Live. So anyone out there, like, I just want to be there for you guys. Like, one call away, like, so much people going through depression. I have 2 kids. My daughter's 12 and she's just transitioning. So I feel her energy. So I totally get it. So I really just want to reach my hand to you guys, and, God bless you guys. And, the universe is there for you. God is there. And I'm just here. I'm dropping my number down on the chat. And if you guys need anything, just give me a ring.
And I just added you as a friend too. So
okay. Thank you.
Right.
Gemma?
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you for having me, Wendy. And also, there's nothing wrong with starting all over.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong. Yeah, look, I did it. And Wendy, you know me, like, I did it. Like, I did it. Like, yes, I did it. So there's nothing wrong with starting all over. There's nothing wrong with taking that plunge or taking that chance, taking that risk. There's nothing wrong with it. If try, and if you don't succeed, you can say, I tried that.
Mm-hmm.
Joella?
Well, first, Wendy, thanks again for having me. It was actually a great honor for you to message me and say, I'd love for you to be on my show. I had no idea it would be a whole panel full of other amazing women doing amazing things. I was like, why is Wendy messaging me? Like, I've been so quiet since I've become a mom over the past 4 years, not really posting much of what I do. I'm like, why is Wendy messaging me? Like, I'm not vocal about what I'm doing. But clearly you have been paying attention. So I'm really honored to have been here and met so many other amazing women besides you and Ermeline. Everyone is new to me, and it was really great hearing their stories. I'll definitely be checking out Thai shows. Reality shows are my guilty pleasure.
Yes.
But
Well, you Ermeline and Joella, you may not remember me, but I remember you all when you all were little girls coming into kindergarten in convent school. Just
well,
so
no, I
you know.
definitely don't, but I remember your brother for sure.
Yes.
And
Well, my
Wendy.
brother is more around your age.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, it's been a great honor, and I'm actually glad that that I can report that, I'm taking up your plea of, reaching out to other females in the same space. For a few, probably months, I've been following this page on Instagram, this new branding company. I'm like, who's this female, trying to push up in my space. But I started following her content a lot more, and she knows her stuff. So coincidentally, I realized it's someone that I'm following on my personal account, and I reached out to her and I was like, we should do lunch sometimes. Like, I really love the content you're pushing, and you clearly know your stuff. So happy to report that I'm taking your plea serious.
Thank you. Ermeline?
Well, Wendy, as you know, I've always looked up to you, always admired you ever since I was a little girl, and nothing has changed. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity, this
Wonderful.
whole idea of bringing women together and sharing and encouraging and supporting. For me, sisterhood is everything. And you don't actually have to be personal friends to be sisters and to be supporters and cheerleaders. And I think that's the message tonight, that we all can continue to support and inspire. And my hope is that we all step up and step out into our own light, and we take the plea to mentor others seriously, and that we just continue to inspire and to grow and to develop and to get to a point where I think we all feel that we have made a contribution.
Thank you. Dr. Shannon?
So Wendy, thank you. Dr. Kim, it was nice to meet you. Thank you for getting us all together. Everyone, it's been a pleasure to learn about you and listen to your stories. Before I head out, I would just recommend, for everyone who's watching, especially young women out there, I think a common theme for all of us is, as strong as you're going to be, you need a network. That's what's going to help you get through the low points. Emma's been really great in saying, like, you can always refocus and redo things, but it's how do you rise up? And so when you don't have that support system, it's incredibly difficult, especially with the last year we've had. A lot of people have realized they don't necessarily have a very strong one. And so it's reach out to your family, reach out to your friends, maintain your relationships. That's what's your vet school and med school and engineering school and work and life and your relationships. So good luck. Thanks for watching.
Dr. Jackie?
Just want to say thank you again. And I really appreciate all the inspiration. I'm going to carry that with me through the remainder of my week. And hopefully this is recorded so then I can also look back on it when I need some inspiration.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I also included my information in the chat. So, please do contact me. And thank you so much for everybody just sincerely telling their story. I know sometimes it can be challenging to revisit those things and to see it in a perspective that sheds light on it, but you definitely shed light on your experience, and it didn't fall on deaf ears. Like, I heard it and I, took it in, just like Genesis mentioned, and just want to let you know that it's something that I'll take with me. And so I do appreciate all the work everybody's doing and putting in. And so it just made me think, like, when I start to tell myself, oh, I'm the only one here, I'm like, I'm going to start changing that script and saying, no, I'm here, but I'm making a way for my other sisters to come through. And so when they come through, it's going to be prepared for them. So I don't sit and worry about I'm the only one. It's like, I'm here, I got the party started, and then you all and keep it going. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a pleasure, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Kim?
Oh, this has been fantastic. It's an honor for me to have you invite me to co-host with you this evening. I think we need to be doing more work together. I think definitely pulling me out of my shell, because I'm not the style, fashion, runway, anything. I just hold my little corner over here. So I am always open to mentoring folks. And again, I love my sisters in professionalism, the sisters in going and getting what we want. I think that is very, very important. And support. That's absolutely important to get to that goal that we've set for ourselves. And again, it's the goal that we set for ourselves, not the goal that somebody wants us to have.
Thank you so much. So before we leave, guys, I want to say thank you again for taking this time out. But I want to leave with this quote. I am a strong woman. I don't sit around feeling sorry for myself, nor let people mistreat me. I don't respond to people who dictate me or try to bring me down. If I fall, I will rise even stronger because I am a survivor and not a victim. I am in control of my life, and there's nothing that I can't achieve. And I read these quotes continuously because it's my inspiration. And every in that quote tonight is every one of you on this planet. So thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to part 2 in checking up on the mentors and the mentors. That's another show to come. So thank you guys and have an amazing week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wendy.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Style Wednesday, ending Women's Month with male dominated careers that we, the women, have taken a part of. It might not be a full 50%, but it's a start. And I want to tell you guys, please remember, help each other, inspire each other, empower each other. It's all about connecting and making everyone great. Guys, this is Style Wednesday. Until next week, Wednesday, I always say, don't let the fashion wear you, you wear the fashion. It's been a pleasure and thank you.